Welcome, people of planet Earth and all planets beyond. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Josh, and today we're going to take a look at the top 10 Levi's bell-bottoms for sale on eBay right now. So let's take a look at the list. So later on this week, we'll be releasing a video on how to identify vintage Levi's bell-bottoms and some of the history and identification tools therein. But before that, we're going to wet your whistle with 10 really awesome Levi's bell-bottoms that you can find on eBay. Now, important to remember that this is not an objective list. This is just after searching through thousands, literally, of listings. Here are the top 10 ones that I found that I think are dope. You can find all of the links to their listings in the description below or on the side. So if you want to take a look or a closer look at any of them, check them out, check the links, that'll take you right to it. Now, getting us started at number 10 is the classic Levi's 646 bell bottom. This is sort of their standard bell, but this one is super dope. I do like the characteristics of the bleach or paint spot this one has. Yeah, you can enjoy, dead stock, brand new factory jeans, but something about this is just so cool, has so much more character. And it's vintage, so it should have character at this point. Then at number 9 we have this pair of purple lavender Levi's for gals bell bottoms. Levi's did a lot of stuff like this that weren't maybe necessarily denim, or they weren't entirely cotton based. Specifically for women in the early 70s. These are super cool, super vibrant, definitely something that could pass today. Some of the more unique versions of the bell bottoms that you can find out there. Now, speaking of Levi's for gals and eccentric wild bell bottoms, this is the hippie era, so check these out right here. These are exceptional bell bottoms and exceptional design in my opinion. Super cool. Got the flare, got the disco, got the hippie vibes. this is so summer of love. It's not even funny. But this pair is super cool because of the pattern. The wide legs here, which is interesting because they're not always narrow and then super wide. Sometimes these are wide throughout and then just really, really bell out towards the bottom of the hem. But this one does that pretty well, and the pattern is super unique. So we're going to continue here at number 7 with some of the more interesting patterns you can find. This green sort of pinstripe pattern is one of those unique items that you can find out there. This one is a big E, just like the last one. So it's super cool, much earlier than late, so probably early 70s, unlikely to be very late 60s, but could potentially be like 69, as that was the year of their release. But this one is super cool on the white tab. Definitely a sweet one. This is the stay pressed material, so it was didn't need to be ironed. It wasn't denim, it was like a poly blend, but the style and the color of this is so perfectly Brady Bunch, it's not even funny. At number 6 is a pretty rare one, actually. This is a bell bottom from the Fresh Produce series, which was sort of a sub-series, a sub-line underneath the Orange Tab line. Really popular in Canada, less so in America, but still had some really interesting designs. So this is a really off the beaten path bell bottom design that Levi's released. The Fresh Produce had a little carrot symbol where the Levi's typeface would go on the Orange Tab. So very unique and pretty rare to find, pretty hard to find. But this is a really wide belled bell bottom, not like the 646 or not even like the 684. So these are really unique and definitely a hard find. Alright, at number 5 we have some corduroys coming in. These are the 646 corduroy versions. So they have the corduroy pattern in beige, sort of cream in color. This would have been perfect for the disco. This is the standard sort of bell-bottom flare. So thin or slim through the thigh and the knee, and really flaring out around the ankle. This again would be you'd be so cool working your way through the disco with these jeans on. So maybe if you're trying to do that again and relive some old memories, this is the pant for you. Alright, now back to some more traditional, standard Levi's here. This bell bottom is the Big Bell, which was the sort of upgrade from the 646. It was the 684. the big bells, and they were much wider. This one is a great solid piece right here. These are probably a bit more common to find out in the wild, as they were very popular, and they are the standard sort of design with the denim. But the denim is excellent here. Orange tab again, such a great pair. This is the classic. Now at number 3 we have this pair right here, which is a 646, but I just think this one is just so incredibly well worn. Like, it's got the wear all in the right places. It's got the whiskers. It's got the fading through the knee. I mean, this is an exceptional piece in terms of quality, vintage look and feel. This is definitely one that you're going to want if you're really looking for that like quintessential bell-bottom look. This is one of those things. It doesn't have all the decorations that some of these really eccentric like hippie ones do, but this is just so perfectly Levi's bell-bottoms that they almost are the standard. All right, at number 2, I think I may have included this in a different video, like a top 10 video, like last year, but it's so cool and it's still online on eBay that it's definitely worth mentioning again. It's this Big E pair of 646s with this really wild design. This is a print of like stones on the bottom of a riverbed. This was printed by Levi's. Levi's did a bunch of this random stuff and that we'll see a little bit later here, but they're super unique. I mean, this is like such a interesting pair. We might think that we'll see some of this type of stuff in, you know, stores today, and that's probably true, but remember, this was like 40, 50 years ago that they were printing this. This would have been even more radically unique at the time. We just didn't print stuff like this very often. So these are super rare, super cool. Big E, one of the coolest pairs of denim jeans, in my opinion, that I've ever seen. Definitely one of the most unique. It would be incredible to find in the thrift store. It would just blow my mind, but these are still super cool. Now, before we get to number 1, remember that we have tons of different resources about how to identify vintage Levi's and a bunch of other vintage clothing brands in the eye above. It's a playlist of a bunch of different videos that we've done over the years on how to identify vintage clothing, so check those out if you want to learn more. Now at number 1 we have this guy. This is a quintessential Levi's vertical striped spell out design. It has Levi's all the way down those stripes all over the garment. You definitely could see Levi's doing some of this stuff today. I believe they still do, but this was the first. This was early on Big E. Such a cool pair, such a unique design, especially for the time. This was the dawn of really like Levi's super vibrant creative expression period, when they were just doing all kinds of unique things that sort of broke the mold for them, whereas they used to, were a pretty standard, clothing company, denim and workwear and stuff like that, Western wear. They definitely broke out into higher and more eccentric fashion around 1969 when the 646 was released, and this really is sort of a crowning jewel on some of that creativity. So that's why it's at number 1. It's super cool. You should check it out. All right, so that was the top 10. Remember, the links are in the description below and or on the sides. We do have a video on how to identify Levi's bell-bottoms coming out later this week, so stay tuned and pay attention. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.